Hey, how's it going, people? I'm over here on server 34, reg PvE, and I got a little base tour going on today. I was over here recently for the Christmas event, just kind of playing around, trying to experience the early game progression again, because it's kind of fun, and you usually don't have to do it. So it's some of the content of the game that's pretty good, pretty well designed in my opinion. But you pretty much just do it once, and then you're established, and you don't have to worry about it again. But so yeah, I'm over here. I do this every now and then, basically try to start fresh without using my resources from my main server. And I try to generally not take a lot of gifts so I can actually, tame starter tames and all that sort of stuff. But when people are giving away free stuff, it's hard to not accept some of it. So I ended up doing that again, and I kind of shortcut the progression process pretty short again. And now I'm already bored, so I'm probably going to give this base away and this cool raft I have over here too. But first I'm going to do a little tour of it, show it off. It's a kind of a neat build. It's a pretty small base, I guess, overall compared to some of the mega bases everybody has, but there's more than enough room to do a lot of stuff. But yeah, now we get into it. And the base itself is relatively compact, but it's stacked, so you get extra floor space, in a relatively small package. This is the top here. This is where most of the workshops and stuff is. I got this nice like window feature here. Yeah, this is the planners, and I've got them stacked in such a way here where these catwalks are supporting these platforms, these crop plots right here, and they're supported by the wall, the glass wall here. So I can stack 5 of them, and otherwise what would have been a space for 3. And since they're staggered like this one doesn't block this one or this one, so they're all fully greenhoused, and they also get greenhouse bonuses and water. I got some water pipes coming off, running up the inside of these walls here, popping out at a nice height for drinking, and also it waters those. And here's some more cool features. I got a nice balcony. It goes all the way around. You got crazy awesome views. You can see the whole map from up here pretty much. You can see all of the desert. You can see into the redwoods over here. You can see all the obelisks when it's clear skies. Yeah, and this balcony goes all the way around. You just close this and you can see a nice view. I'll get in from this side. And yeah, here's the kitchen area. I've got this kind of wedged in here. Everything sort of fits. You got a cryo fridge. You got plenty of, tech. You got plenty of, plenty of the technology that gives you, incubation. It gives you a place to store your dinos. I just went cheap with this because it's expensive, and I was kind of starting fresh, like I said, with materials and everything. So that's a nice substitute for the chem bench. We got a workstation over here for crafting. I got some storage. I got this little ladder to go up on the roof. It's also got good views. You can park your wyverns up here. And I still have the mindset of always trying to tuck all my tames inside because of how many people used to kite back in the day. I've always pretty much wanted to cocoon everything indoors ever since. A lot of people just leave all their stuff just sitting out where it can be kited at any time. Maybe if they're smart they put guns out, but I still just try to conceal for the most part. It's always worked. I've never been kited, and because there's nothing to kite. If the animals can't see inside and see your animals to fight, they won't actually hit your base at all. They won't actually attack anything unless they can see a direct line of sight towards your tame to attack. I just put this guy outside recently because I was taking him for a walk. But you can raise them indoors. But yeah, there's enough room to cram a couple of wyverns, so you don't have to constantly unpod them. There's plenty of room for some worker tames. This whole area here you could use for whatever. I was raising wyverns out here. You can just store things out here if you're not worried about getting kited. But I tend to not ever want to leave stuff outside. Yeah, it's plenty of room. I think it's a nice look. I don't like to just have big ugly walls because they'll block my nice view. I like to see the views, have a nice open look. You could put a transmitter or something right here on the end. I usually put a transmitter on the end of this, but I haven't built transmitters on this server because I I don't have access to it on this character. I don't have any element or anything on this character. And yeah, like I said, I'm trying to avoid bringing anything over myself. This is more or less what you could accomplish as an actual new player if you know, starting fresh, if you had some experience and apparently some charity, because yeah, a lot of people gave me some great teams. There's a real nice community over here, a lot of really nice people who helped me out. This one here gave me a theory, and this guy here gave me a bunch of nice stuff, like an actual grown theory. This one was from Andy. And he gave me a wyvern, or I think maybe, I don't know, he gave me some other stuff as well. But yeah, this other theory that I'm raising was from Tina, and what's interesting about it is when I checked its lineage, it's actually related to both of my own lines. Chrissy on the one side was mine, and Cersei on the other side was also mine. So on both sides of its lineage, it's actually related to my own Therazinos from a couple of years ago, which is pretty cool. But anywho, yeah, that's this base. It's pretty nice. I really like it. I'm probably going to use it again on Genesis because it's not too many structures. It loads really quick. It's compact. It looks nice, and it doesn't take up much space, and it's easy to put anywhere you want. You could build this on any level of terrain. And yeah, I dig it. This is the kind of designs I like, and a lot of people like different kind of designs, but I like to have, you know, compact ones that fit squarely with the way the build system works. These are actually large four high walls right here, and I set this behemoth gate like squarely into it. It fits real snugly, and you can see all the dino gates, and there's not a whole lot of awkward overlaps or gaps or jagged awkward corners or anything like that. It fits real snugly the way the build system works. So it's the kind of stuff that I like to do. Another cool feature to note on this base is that there's two more things that are on this level that are kind of noteworthy. There's Dimetrodons here. I'm using these for incubating. If you get about 6 of these guys, you can incubate everything, including wyvern eggs. And pretty much everything that you're going to get on a Ragnarok server. The only thing that 6 of these can't incubate is a drake egg. But you don't want to do drakes on here anyway. But yeah, these are great. They're relatively unknown how great they are for incubating. If you tame level 20s of these and you raise them up to about level 200, which is viable, level 200 melee. I mean, you get 200 melee, and it boosts their incubation ability. And 200 is a nice, good level to get them at. But yeah, even a level 20 can get to around 200. Get about 6 of those. I incubated some RG eggs and this Theory egg on it, and it was fine with just 3. And yeah, they're pretty quick tame now. Actually, also they're much easier than they used to be. Their torpor, their torpidity recovery is much slower than it used to be. So instead of having like 40 seconds to get the berries on them after you trank them down, you've got about 5 minutes. So they're much easier to tame. Just a couple of batches of narco berries on them, and they're ready to tame out with primate. So I recommend those guys for a base like this, because I mean, there's other places I could probably wedge some air conditioners, but I hate the noise of air conditioners. They're very noisy. They're particle emitters on PS4 especially, cause a lot of lag, and I just don't like them. So I almost always use Dimetrodons exclusively now. They're really convenient. They're relatively quiet. They lay eggs. You can move them. They're great. And the other thing is I tucked in this generator room here, because I usually try to put my generator a little farther from where I'm actually going to be working around, moving around, because they got to be somewhere. I don't like the noise of them. It's a lot quieter now than it used to be, so you can't really hear them as badly. But I also like to try and keep them closed off, so if people wander into my base, they can't turn off my generator. And so yeah, also on the same server, first off I built a raft. I'm gonna go over to that because it's also pretty cool. Let me just drop some of my stuff off, and my mascot here. I tamed the new green man. If anybody's watched any of my other videos, I usually end up grabbing a Lystro somewhere early on for just to have a little mascot, a little teammate here. And I almost always call him Green Man after Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Yeah, and this one here, he's actually really green, super vibrantly green, because it was one of the event ones during the Christmas thing. So let me fast travel over to the raft. Apparently my other raft must have decayed. I had another raft, and I haven't gone and visited it lately. But yeah, this raft here is really pretty cool. It's similar to my other raft you may have seen in one of my other videos that was called my squidding raft. It's the same basic layout, but I had to cut the structure count down quite a bit because this is actually on just a regular old raft base, not the motorboat. So I had to get a little bit more slimmed down with the structure count here, and I just kind of tacked this on so I could get my theories out. It wasn't part of my original design, but I needed it all of a sudden when my theory couldn't get out of the water. I was actually doing Bacillo taming with a Therizino because it was the best tame I had available to protect myself in the water from all the mantis. And it worked out. It was a real hassle because the meat kept spoiling before I could feed it to the Bacillo. But I got one. I got a couple actually, but I moved them to the other base. Oh, I must have ran out of gasoline. Oh, the hell? I didn't think I turned that off. But yeah, this actually has a generator and everything. It's got a generator, it's got a fridge, it's got a single light, which is enough to cast light for the whole interior. So you have good solid lighting on a raft, on the little raft base. I played on this for, I don't know, a week and a half, something like that. And I just kept building up onto it. I put a fabricator up here. It's actually supported by a catwalk, which is supported by a wall piece here that's in the gate itself, so you can't see it. It's concealed. It's one of the only wood pieces. This and that are some of the only wood pieces. I was going to put metal here instead, but at the time I didn't have any metal. Because yeah, this is realistically buildable by a brand new noob starting from scratch, and you just keep adding to it. Obviously, these parts were added later when I had access to more materials, but the rest of it was just built as with what I had available at the time. And instead of my other design where I had like some ceilings here and the beds up there, and I had a different configuration for these stairs, I went with this one instead. It's a lower structure count. I put the bed here on the floor. I went with this one because it's also you get more bed for the structure count of just one. You can spawn it. You can spawn more people at it or more regularly at it. I also went with these hatch frames on the top because these guys actually count for, instead of taking 4 ceilings for 4 structure count, it counts as 2 and covers the same space. So these kind of tricks, they save your structure count. You can fit them all onto a regular old raft, which has a lower structure count than motorboats. And so yeah, I went with a lot of these. I went with the spiral because 2 spirals are cheaper than 4 regular ladders actually. So that also saves structure count. And I don't have any railing on this one because I couldn't afford it with the structure count limit. You got to really cut some corners, but it still makes you a pretty nice big space on the sea that you can move around anywhere you want because it's a raft. It's pretty convenient, pretty handy. Anybody could build this anywhere, regardless of where the pillars are on a server. You don't have to worry about that. You can just make one of these and pilot it around. I wouldn't recommend it on the center. I mean, on the island map or the center map, because they have lead siths or whatever those things are called, those big giant whales that wreck your rafts. A real nuisance. Ruined one of the funnest parts of the game, in my opinion, which is these rafts. But they're great on rag. No whales. None of those bastards around. Don't have to worry about it. And so yeah, you can fit all this as your first base. It's a great start. Plenty of room. I actually had a handful of tames in here laying eggs before, but then people were pretty charitable, so I didn't really need to do that anymore. So I moved into the mountains instead. And yeah, there it is. That's the tour. You can sort of get a pretty good idea how to build most of these things just by looking at them. There's only a couple of quirks that you have to do in a certain order. Like you gotta lay these smithies in a certain order. And on the other base, you have to lay. Let me go back over there. On the other base, you have to lay some of the structures in a certain order over there too, for it to allow you to do it. And I'll kind of show you what those are if you want to build a build like this, because otherwise it's kind of an expensive mistake if you do it in the wrong order. But yeah, see this behemoth gate. You got to put the structure, like the actual gateway itself, You got to put that one as one of the last things. You basically want to build the entire ceiling. You want to build all the railings. You want to build all these ceilings for the in between floors, all the way up to this one here on the edges, and the outside balcony ones. You want to put those in first, but you don't want to build these here in the middle of the opening until after. So you build all the rest of the ceilings except for on each floor. You don't build these yet. You leave these out, the balcony ones also. You build all the way up to the top floor here. You build the full ceiling, and then only after that you build the behemoth gate itself, and you have to offset it. So see these fence foundations here? They're offset into the middle of the ceilings. They're going middle to middle, middle to middle across the way, because you actually have to place this behemoth gate on this offset mid-ceiling spot for it to line up just right with this other stuff. These corners here are actually also decorative. I did a lot of decorative stuff, partly to mask this bizarre building support system, and also to just make it look nice. But yeah, you place the behemoth gateway at that point, and then you fill in only part of the ceilings next. You can't place all of these mid ceilings here, or you won't be able to put the door on. But you put one more level out on the inside and the outside. So one more level of ceiling on the inside and the outside. Don't put these in yet, and then you put the door on. And then after the door is on, you just open the door and you put the rest of the ceilings on in between on each level, and you're good. It's done. The only other thing that you need to worry about as far as build order is these gates right here. They'll actually block these ceilings. So if you want to do a balcony setup like this, you need to put these balconies on before you put the gateways and the doors. So remember that. Also, it's the same with the stairs. You're going to have the stairs before you put this on anyway. But yeah, the stairs, any stairs you might have, if you have more level ground and you want to have stairs that go into some of these other dino gates, you put the stairs on before you put the dino gates, because you won't be able to do it in the other order. That's most of the order information that you need to know if you want to build this. And yeah, this is going to be pretty much, I might give it away on 34 here if you want to join this community. If you're starting out, you want a nice, early mid-tier type base to get going with. I'm not going to keep refreshing it soon. I'm going to move out a handful of things that are of any actual value to an endgame player. There's not a whole lot, but there's some. I'll move some of that stuff out and just give the rest of it away. So I'll probably post this on one of the Facebook groups if you want this base, or just reply on the YouTube or the Facebook group, and I'll probably give it away in the next week or so. Otherwise, enjoy the build, enjoy the tour. If you want to try and build it, just kind of like watch through and see where some of the details are that you want to copy. I really like this this big whole garden feature here. It's really cool. I had one of these get destroyed on another server before by a random Bronto. Was fighting something nearby and bashed the whole thing in. So it is fragile, and if there's Brontos around, they can actually apparently hit this high up. So keep that in mind if you're building this on like Val or I don't know the new map. I don't know what they're going to end up having there, but it is fragile. It will be bashed in by like just a one or two tail swipes apparently. But if it's high up in an area like this where there's nothing that spawns, there's nothing to bash it. So it's cool. I like it. It's a nice feature. Anywho, have a good one. See ya.